Okay, so last week I did a presentation for the building design students at the TAFE at Southbank. And one of the questions that they posed at me at the time, or kind of threw at me, was what are the different types of town planners? And I was like, damn, that is a good question. I'm going to steal that question for this week's video. So, what is the answer? Well, I personally think there is three different types of town planners. First and foremost, you've got the strategic town planners. And then you've got like the government or public sector DA town planners. And last but not least, you've got the private sector DA town planners. Now, each one of these town planners has a very distinct and different role within the process. So first and foremost, the strategic town planners, their role is essentially to write or create the rule book of the legislation that we operate under. Now, I personally could never, ever be one of these guys or girls. Like, I honestly do not know how they do their job. They spend years and years and years crafting these little babies, these little rule books. And then after all of that time and all of that effort, they put it out for public consultation and they get absolutely shredded by the community. Like the negative vibes that are thrown at them during that consultation process is next level. And then just to top it all off, once you've had that massive build up, you've weathered the storm of public consultation, you come out the other side, sometimes it just ends up in the bin. So your little baby gets thrown out and it never sees the light of day. Like we only need to look at, what was it, the Maruka TLPI? That whole TLPI conversation for a different day. But essentially, those strategic town planners spent a bucket load of time creating that TLPI. They weathered the storm of negative public feedback, and in the end, it ended up in the bin. It was, I wouldn't say wasted effort, but it was a lot of effort that just disappeared. So yeah, that's the reason why I personally could never do what they do. Like I would go absolutely insane and I would just rip all of my hair out. But we do need those guys. So yeah, they're the first ones. The second one, like I said, were the public sector or government DA in this context being development assessment town planners. Now, I actually started out as one of these guys. So after I graduated from uni, worked at Brisbane City Council as a DA public sector town planner. Their role is to assess the applications that are lodged with council against the legislation or the rule books that the strategic town planners create. So they go through and work out, can council support it or not under that legislation. Now, the final type is what I am today, which is a private sector DA town planner. So my role essentially is to act as like a middleman between the homeowner or the building designer or the architect or the developer or whatever professional it is, insert there, act as a middleman between them and council. So ideally, we're providing feedback as to what we think council will and won't support, helping to kind of guide the purchase or the initial purchase decision when it comes to purchasing the property, but then also the design development process, all of that sort of stuff, and then going through council and getting the approval for them. So yeah, that's our role. We basically lodge the applications with the DA public sector town planners against or for assessment against the rule books that the strategic town planners create. So there you go, three different types of town planners. Like I said, three very distinct, different roles within the process. I think that covers off everything I want to say today. As I always like to say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.